and William Gheen, President of Americans for Legal Immigration. Glad to have both of you with us. So, Lars, I'm going to start with you tonight.
Sure.
What is the most specific beef you can give us tonight with this reform package?
Well, I think that Newt Gingrich said it best when he said there's no way to start a citizenship by committing crimes. We have 12 million people in our country who are here illegally. They identify themselves illegally. They work illegally. And they commit crimes disproportionately to the general population. This bill would immediately make them probationary status in the United States, which gives them a social security number, the right to work, and the right to stay. And you know that once they're here and they're given the right to work, the right to stay, and a social, there's not going to be any sending them home, even if the border fence is never built, even if the employer verification never happens.
William, do you take issue with that?
Well, there are hundreds of things wrong with this bill, and that's why the Senate wanted to ramrod it through in less than 3 days. When the bill got delayed and took another week, it gave Americans time and people through talk radio and the blogosphere to alert the public to what's wrong with this bill. But most fundamentally, we're having the wrong discussion. The discussion is, why isn't President Bush enforcing our existing immigration laws, and what other federal laws would he like to not enforce unilaterally? The president's job is to enforce our existing laws, and until he starts doing that, our nation has no immigration enforcement credibility.
As you both know, the president is accusing critics like you as nitpicking this reform package. Let's remind our audience of what he has had to say as he tried to defend his agenda. Let's watch.
If you want to kill the bill, if you don't want to do what's right for America, you can pick one little aspect out of it. You can use it to frighten people, or you can show leadership and solve this problem once and for all. Now's the time for comprehensive immigration reform. Now's the time for members of both political parties to stand up and show courage and take a leadership role and do what's right for America.
So, Lars, as part of the opposition, is the president calling you unpatriotic?
Sure he is, but the fact is he's wrong. His administration has a way to get all these 12 million to go home, and I'll tell you what it is. Congressman Steve King years ago said, you tell every American company if their workers' names don't match their social security numbers, they can't deduct their wages at tax time. That would get every American company to fire every illegal on their staff. I'll tell you that ironically today in the city that I broadcast from, Portland, Oregon, they raided the Del Monte plant here. There are 600 workers there, and only 48 of them had legitimate social security numbers. That means the other 550 were using the social security numbers of disabled Americans, dead Americans, and elderly Americans. And that's just dead wrong. America knows it, and if the president was smart, he would know it too.
But, William, there are a lot of folks out there that think it is absolutely unrealistic that you can drive some 12 million or so people out of this country simply by putting pressure on corporations and employers.
No,
they say
actually,
it's just not going to happen.
Well, actually, what we've seen in the past history of the United States is when we enforced our existing laws, millions of illegals left on their own accord. And we've seen in the states that are cracking down and the cities that are cracking down, the illegals start to leave when you announce that you're going to enforce the law. If President Bush would actually do his job, honor his oath of office and the United States Constitution, we would have less illegal aliens in America instead of more, which have come in droves, unprecedented droves, under his administration due to his failure to enforce the existing laws of the United States. And moving backwards, that means that every American has been deprived of a voice. He has nullified our elections, and he has nullified the congressional proceedings that led to create these laws.
Gentlemen, got to leave it there tonight. William Gheen, Lars Larson. Glad to have both of you with us.